I've had it.
It's adorable.
I've had it since college.
I love it. I love it. You know what though? I did a big cleanup in 2019. Put all the Christmas stuff away.
And it never made it back out.
Now that's where all my hats are. My big light up doodad earrings. All gone.
I do have like some light bulb necklace things that I didn't steal them, but when I left a party, I just kind of I was like I had to get out of there. Long story short, a guy was like trying to hold my hand, and I was just trying to go home, and it was weird.
My God. My God. My God. These days when people try to hold my hand, it's usually because like, Mom, I need help wiping. And I'm like, you really, really don't. So I stand by that instinct to cut the tie.
Got to get out of here.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Speaking of which, I am kind of nervous I'm going to end up in jail tonight.
Oh no.
Because I just gave myself a Christmas present.
Uh-oh.
And I'm real excited about it. I don't know if
What
you
is
see
that?
that. It is not, I know it is not what my husband thought it was when I pulled it out the package.
Yeah.
It is in fact an electric lighter. Look at this.
I have one of those, and it is a game changer.
Game changer.
It is a game changer. Because
a lot of shit on fire.
That's what I end up doing.
I had all these candles. I was like, this is amazing.
Right. There were so many candles. Like, I think it made the dog sick. Like, I'm almost certain that, like, and I got, like, the nice ones, too. Like, there's some locally made candles in Richmond that are, like, as much as people are like, oh, candles are a terrible gift. No. These were, like, high quality. Like, and they smelled really good. Like, you knew, like, and this particular person is a she, but like she took her time to make these with like the best blends, and like it was never too much. It was always just enough scent to like that would permeate through your house, and
unless you light them all at the same time with your new fancy lighter.
And then it also felt like I was lighting enough candles to wake the dead.
Which I'm told is it could be a purpose of the candles.
It could be a seance. Like, you never know.
I'm just saying, these past 2 years have been so weird, NIKKIA,
that I wouldn't have been shocked if you said I'm having a seance. I'd be like, I too would probably conjure some spirits to be like, we need help.
For real. I am this close to being like, what is a divination? And can I do it myself? I'm running out of ideas.
I'm trying new vitamins. Like, what haven't I tried yet? Like, I will say the vitamins did help. And if you are questioning if vitamins help, I would definitely like ask your nutritionist and like what time of day to take them, because that also makes a huge difference. And I did not realize that.
Really?
Yeah. So
sorry. No, it's a thing. It is, and it's a really big deal. Like B12, when you take it, I didn't know that for a long time too. I just took it at night. Like I know, right? So you wake up and you have like bright yellow pee, and I'm like, why do I take this again? It's like, well, it literally does you no good when you take it at night. Okay.
Yeah, not at night. If you take it in midday or morning, it will work wonders for you.
10 a.m. and 2 p.m.
Yep.
Yeah. My God. I remember the first time here, like, and it was on StreamYard, which is how important at this computer, when I talked about, and it was 20, because I mentioned astrology once on a podcast in 2017, and I got beat up for it.
No,
like beat up hard. It was at my previous employer, and just like the notes people wrote in about like, I did not know she was practiced a cult, and I'm like, wait, what? Come on. Well, I feel
like a lot of people are blending into occultism, and I don't think of astrology as occultism, but I think a lot of people are kind of like going that way after. And I have a lot of friends who are actual witches, like not broom riding, but like, you know, spells and things of that nature. Granted, like
I'm not gonna lie, and during the period last year when I was convinced, I was like, it's not paranoia if they're literally after you, right?
That is true.
I might have visited a friend of a friend and been like, can you just see if there's a hex on me and maybe like stop it? I think it's happening. And I'm like, I'm like, how do I ask this person to
You
break
never know.
on me without sounding like a crazy person? It's like I didn't even know how to be in that space and now judge myself for being in that space.
No, because here's the thing, and I don't know if it's because we're both from the South, but like there are traditions and things in the South that are still very much alive, very much still being practiced. Like it sounds crazy, but it's not when it's what people do day to day. Now granted, my thing, I'm very much Christian, but I also have respect for people who are either like just like, nope, this is all a simulation. Because if you've been alive in the last 3 years, you probably also feel like you're in a simulation.
Yes. Yes. Is this the real life? Is this fantasy? Oh my God. Oh my God.
For those of you that don't know, MK and I have been going through it this week.
It has been and I know I've said this before too. There have been so many times when I've been like, I am finally turning the corner. Things are coming back together. And then it's just like, and like the train goes off the tracks and I didn't see it coming.
Never saw it coming. And then there's also like very positive, exciting, and fun things happening at the same time. So it's a weird mixture. Or at least I'm having a weird mixture of things where it's like, there's the good, like there's so great, there's so many fun things. And then there's also just like I want to go home and I need to lay down and I need to not have to do anything for the next 5 days.
Yeah. Except that you can do that because in the next 5 days, guess what's happening here? Winter break.
Yeah.
Starts on Friday.
So, wait, y'all only get 5 days?
Oh, no. In 5 days from now, we will be in the throes of winter break, which will have just begun. We don't go back to like January the 6th or 9th.
Yeah. They've started doing extended breaks here. My sister went home from college before Thanksgiving and won't be going back to campus until like January 15th.
Wow.
But it's to keep down with like the constant infection, which I was like, that also kind of makes sense.
The constant infection?
Yeah, like people going home, coming back, bringing back new stuff, going home again, coming back new stuff.
Like, you get the college disease. Oh, sorry.
Homogomossyphilitis.
My brain
Whatever else might be.
It's like if you didn't get yeast infection like your freshman year, then you didn't do it. Did you even go to college?
I do have a hilarious sorority story about yeast infection, but I will.
I probably should not have even said that right.
I will spare everyone that story. Just say, stay away from dunk tanks, specifically ones at Greek fundraisers.
That life lessons from NIKKIA, y'all. Merry Christmas.
And tell your children that might be in sororities, don't get in that dunk tank. Don't do it. Don't do it. I don't care how good the charity is. Just make a donation. It's not worth it.
I wish I didn't have sororities or fraternities, funny enough. So I feel like that's like all that Greek life just sort of passed me by.
And also it's interesting because like where Georgetown is, it would make total, well, and they probably had secret societies. They just didn't.
Sure. No one invited me to join any though. I guess they thought MK couldn't keep secrets. And it can't if you're fucking up. Breaking laws. Hurting people. Other secrets, yeah. You can believe how many of those I hold on to. No wonder. But I remember like the first time I mentioned a cult or like astrology and people were coming at me for like a cult. I hear I say a cult. And then I didn't bring it up again until like 2019. But the tweet I sent you earlier this week really feels like, and you're like, oh God, which one?
Which one?
We do talk a little too. Just the right amount, really. We just talk a lot. I like it. I don't know. I started a company so I could hang out with you, basically. And nothing wrong with that. Good ROI there. But it's the one from Michael Hobbs that said like 2016 is the first year that we started saying making the laborious statements about like when will this year end, and it just hasn't let up. Every year it's just gotten progressively worse, and I really felt that.
I agree.
This week,
and it's funny because I don't think we realized how good we had it even in 2016. Like that's the scary thing that is kind of in the back of my mind is like we didn't realize what was coming, and once again, even if you have not had a terrible pandemic, it's like it feels like it's a death march. Like, and I personally, I've been trying to cultivate as much and literally conjure as much holiday spirit as I can. And it has been a fight. It has not been easy. And I can't be the only person that feels like this. And once again, it's a weird mixture of I'm having some really good, exciting, positive things happening. I'm making connections with people that are not draining me. They make me very happy.
Like this one, right? Just checking, just making sure.
Yes, this is it.
Whenever I'm not, you gotta tell me, all right?
But I'm also like having some of these situations where it's like, I mean, I work in finance-esque in my day-to-day life, and finance at the end of the year, for those of you that also do finance, it's not fun. And it's not fun because like there's deadlines, but like no one believes in the deadlines because it's not their deadlines, it's my deadline. So it's like, great. And accruals and lots and lots of money that needs to go accounted for, even if it's not going to be spent until the following year and all the fun stuff that comes with that. But like, honestly, not even at my job. Like, that's not even the thing either. It's just like, it just feels like there's always something. And my house loves to traditionally break something between Thanksgiving and New Year's.
And you broke all the things this year.
And traditionally, it like in true 913 Herbert Street fashion, not only did the toilet explode, that was right before Thanksgiving. My washer and dryer have now gone to heaven, so I have to buy both of those items like in the very close future. I am also in the meantime, to just add on to cost, I'm going to just do a laundry service. And
you know what though? Enjoy it while you have it. Treat yourself, as the kids say.
I also did throw away like all of my like utility towels. Like, and for those of you that have either small children or animals or just have had spare towels existing in your home, I had to get rid of most of my spare towels in the death of the washer. So I'm really kind of sad about that. And I have to restock my like gross towel.
Oh my god, we have some we could give you. It's probably not worth the shipping.
It's not worth the shipping. But basically what I usually do is I take the old towels, and then they're not really old, but like I take the current towels that I use in my bathroom, and those get to graduate to ranger / cleaning duty. And then I buy myself new bath sheets and things. So yeah, it's not like, I mean, I'm going to come up with positives out of this. Like I'm going to buy like new towels and like the nice big bath sheets, like the one that you can wrap all the way around, even if you are a larger human.
Let me find the name of it. So if you're going to treat yourself with towels, we have gotten these microfiber towels that I'm in love with. My daughter's got thicker hair than I do, and that is saying something because I've got a really thick hair. And this stuff like just sucks the water right out of it. I've never seen anything like it. Yeah. Vuolo, I think is the name of it. Let me double check.
Yeah, I feel like people are they're having like the death march of the year. It might be the first time they have to confront family members that they've been able to actively avoid for the last 2 to 3 years. And
that's it. I'm going to put the link in here. Keep going.
And I get it. I mean, not that I actively avoid my family. I think we just all have an understanding that we base it on how people are feeling towards the end of the year. And, you know, I think there's also a lot of things like, you know, okay, the gatherings are back. Because the gatherings are really, I think some of that is what's kicking me in the pants.
Yeah.
And not even from like because as much as it's like, oh, like if you go out there and you read like how to survive the holidays, one of the first, second, or third things you're going to click on is how to not overeat at parties and things like that.
Don't get me started.
I feel like this year I've been very lucky because nothing looks very appetizing at some of these parties. It's like it's kind
I don't know if it's food, if it's the fact that I'm older, or if I'm just depressed. But I look at this food, NIKKIA, and I'm just like,
I know it. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. So, a good example.
I don't think I'm depressed. I just feel like the things that bring me joy.
Right. And the thing is like I used to go to these parties and be so excited about like what was being served.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's because people's budgets are like inflation has ruined holiday budgets, even for like events. And I have a great example of this. So
the party we went to where I texted you all the food and was like, why are we here? Was that the one you were going to? Poor Mr. MK.
Oh, it's not even that. I had an experience. Actually, I've had this experience multiple times. I had an experience today.
Really?
I'm convinced.
Party was inedible. There was only this much of it, and this is Deloitte. That is a big firm, right? So we're there just to catch everybody else up because I was texting NIKKIA through it like we're about to go to Fogo de Chao. Okay, Fogo de Chao for once is absolutely full. We're going down the street. We had to go like 4 different places before we finally found food. It was up, but like you couldn't even drink the Diet Coke. I'm like, what is wrong with this Coke? And I handed my husband. I'm like, and he was like, no, you're right. This doesn't taste right. And then you told me the expiration date, 2020.
Did I not tell you? Because the same thing happened at my work cafeteria. My manager opened his Coke Zero, and not a bubble was in sight. Like literally, I was like, I thought you didn't open it, and like I was like, I wouldn't drink that, and he drank the whole thing, and he was like, well, if I kill over at my desk later, you know what happened? It was the expired Coke Zero. But yeah,
but it doesn't. Remember, that's the thing, and we Googled it because I was like, okay, it doesn't bubble when you open it, but it still bubbles when it hits ice.
It didn't even do that, did it?
What?
Yep.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was expired. And because it was so funny when you said, because everybody knows what Diet Coke tastes like. Whether you've had one in the last like 10 years or not, you know what it tastes like. So when you open your mouth and you go to drink it and it's not there, it's almost an immediate sign that either the can's been tampered with, which you would know before you held it, or it's expired. Because I don't know what it is, but their shelf life is not great. And think about how many, supply chain at the start of the pandemic, how many people just like had, or companies, even catering companies, had all these cans, had these things.
If I had this at the party, NIKKIA, we would have had a good time. I would have been
I'm sure you would have. And it's all fun and games until somebody leaves a Christmas party with burn marks on their behind.
I wouldn't have had to burn nothing if they give me proper food.
But I will say, normally I go into Christmas parties and things like that being like, I'm only going to eat what actually looks scrumptious and delicious. And this year, I have been met with the weirdest challenge ever of just none of it looks good. So the school I went to Roanoke College. Roanoke College is a pretty wealthy school, nestled in the Blue Ridge Mountains of, out in Virginia. And what was interesting that we used to have a very large free party at a place called the Jefferson. The Jefferson is one of the most historic hotels, probably on the East Coast. Gorgeous. Like money. Like money.
Was that a plantation?
It was not a plantation. It does sound like a plantation, but it's not a plantation. There's plenty of plantations around that people are like flipping into like wineries. But I don't patron those wineries, but that's a long story for another day. Because I when I put 2 and 2 together, and I've heard this place has great wine, but I'm not going there. But the Jefferson is not a plantation. It sits smack in the middle of the city. But it is gorgeous. It's one of the nicest hotels. They have a fantastic like champagne brunch. It's where you go for the Instagram Christmas pictures. It's where the nicest place, like the richest businesses have their parties. It's where the rich people get married. Like it's a society thing. And so that was not an option this year. We were told that Roanoke can, what was happening is that a particular individual was funding that as a fundraiser for the school. And like when I tell y'all that this event in the past was it prime rib station, a very fancy cheese board situation, open bar.
Can I tell you, I never really appreciated the prime rib situation. I always figured it was a cheap cut of meat because they're at restaurants for like Sunday supper or whatever the English tradition was. Like when I lived in Hong Kong, everybody had like Sunday supper and it was prime rib. So I just assumed it was like a crappy cut of meat. But I stood corrected. My mom loves it, but my mom also has really terrible taste, right? She's the woman that will like fight you for the flats whenever there's like chicken wings on the table. That God bless mama. So I promised her for this year, I would make her prime rib for Christmas because it's her favorite, and I am pretty good with meats. That shit's expensive.
Yeah.
I had no idea. Anyway, I didn't mean to like cut you off, but I was just like,
but that's the thing, right?
Prime rib is fancy.
Like it used to be the thing. And then also, I will say, I'm extremely grateful for the lack of potlucks because I feel like some people finally learned something from the pandemic. Because personally, I don't want to eat from some people's homes, especially when I've seen pictures of your cat on your counters. Like I've seen it on the internet. Like I saw it. Why is your cat stirring greens on your stove? I don't want it. I don't want it. Mm-mm. Why is your dog licking the pan? That's gross. And I will say I have a ranger.
Why are you setting the chicken back in the styrofoam thing that you bought it in after you fried it? I saw that on a TikTok and I have not been the same since.
I wouldn't be the same.
I was like, I won't eat fried chicken anywhere anymore.
Yeah, I don't trust that. And that's the thing. So all this to say, if you are going to holiday parties, hopefully your food's better than the last couple that I've gone to. And I've been sorely disappointed.
You can always like, at least with the dessert station.
Even the dessert stations have been bad.
I know. I was like, and now that I've started watching Great British Bake Off, and like, I still can't eat very much, but I've got the digestive enzymes. I can eat more than I could before from the dessert station. And I was all excited. There was just like nothing there I wanted to touch. None of the fun jams or jellies or just nothing.
Nothing. So hopefully you're going to parties where things are more scrumptious and delicious. But my advice would literally be eat what you want. Don't gorge yourself. Like you don't have to be uncomfortable, but like make a plate of the things that you actually want. Take a bite. If it's good, keep eating. If it ain't, leave it alone. You don't need that. Mostly because you don't have to eat things that don't taste good.
You don't.
And honestly, if you can walk into a venue and you look and you see the table and you're like, I don't want that. Like it's okay. I think also because there's so much pressure, right? People, oh my God, go get a plate. And I want it. And there's several times where I was like, I don't want any of that. I don't like none of that even looks appetizing for the venue, and then B, I know you picked those up from Publix 6 hours ago. They have not been refrigerated, so it's probably not great. Those are cold chicken tenders. I don't want that, and I think that's probably, honestly and truly, that's probably what we more so need to focus on in the holidays. Is like eat what you want. Have your fill of what is good and enjoyable and delicious, and leave the stuff that sucks. And honestly, I feel like this year more stuff's gonna suck. Based on the last 3 parties I've been to.
My God, you've been more parties than me. At least, you know what did not suck was my outfit that I wore to the party. I'm very proud of that. True. That was fun. Hopefully, but you have not been posting pictures of you at these parties, NIKKIA.
Well, and you know what's funny? Part of that is because I've been wearing a rendition of the same outfit.
So you look cute.
My new like thing. Well, not even new. I've done it for a while, but I wear a black jumpsuit, like cat suit, full body cat suit, and I would put a fancy duster on top of it, and it is the perfect holiday something for like because it it can be tight where you need it to be tight. It can conceal where it needs to be concealed.
Mm-hmm.
You can dress it up. You can dress it down. Like if I wanted to really dress it down and put like some dark jeans on instead, that's an option. And I have them in literally 6 colors.
Last year, if you wanted to get some all eyes on you.
Exactly. So like, but I'm not taking many pictures mostly because by the time these parties happen, it's also like 6, 7:30, and I am done. I am done. Like it is just, I've been like, going straight from work to these events, and 2 of the events were at the same brewery, but like 2 days apart. And I was like, let me just stay in the rafters. Like just, I don't know. Because they're 30-minute drives. Like both of them were 30-minute drives away from my house, which, and the
well, these are the moments that like I'm trying so hard. You remember that period? I'm not on TikTok that much, but when I am, I got to make it count because it's going to mess my life up like the fried chicken thing. So, hi, Maria Terry. How are you? She just popped in and is saying hi. Hi, Terry. Hi. We were just talking about how Christmas parties this year we've not been having very much luck with. Food-wise, the situation has not been good. It has not been good at all. Normally, this is a time of year when we show up and we talk about like, you should be able to have all the fun without all the guilt, do what you want. And here, like, I feel like you don't. This is like when you go to the funeral. I don't know. I don't know if everybody does funerals like we do in South NIKKIA.
Are you talking about a repass? Are you talking about a repass?
Yeah.
Where you eat the food that probably killed the person?
Yeah. Well, because it's a potluck. A funeral is a potluck, and everybody. And
people have started getting repasses catered. It's like a whole thing now. It's a whole thing. I know. I'm with you.
My kids have never been to one. My husband's never attended one. I'm like, how have you never been to a funeral? My husband's never been to any funeral. And I'm like, and he's known service members who've died, but it's not the same. And I'm like, wait, you don't have the viewing. You've never had a family member die. You have to be present at the viewing and receive people and host the potluck for 3 days. Like, but anyway, so the point is potluck funeral food sucks. No one prepares good food for the funeral. They go to Publix or they go to the grocery store in Carthage, Tennessee, where I'm from, and grab pre-made food, which they don't have deli counters where I'm from. They don't have a prepared food section for you to get lunch there where I'm from. So when you have to pre-order the food, it's not a pretty picture. And that is what you get at a Southern funeral. And it has been Southern funeral food at the holiday parties that we've been to. So,
and not good, like not on warmers. That was the other thing that I thought was like, did we learn nothing from the pandemic? No. Like nothing was warm. Nothing was warm. And like, I just kind of have gotten to this point where I've not seen anything that has even been worth like and I hate to be like, oh, it's worth the calories, but like it wasn't even worth putting in my mouth. Like I went outside. Luckily, this place was a brewery that had a food truck, and there was like, and it was a slow night, but it was a arepa truck. And if you don't know what an arepa is,
arepas can go bad real easy.
Not if you have the right people cooking them. And I always have the right people cooking mine. So this food truck had tostones and arepas, and he was like, you know what an arepa is, right? And he was trying to like explain it to me, and I was like, oh, I know. Don't worry. I trust this truck. And then I saw the truck again over the weekend out in front of a construction zone, and I was like, yep, I knew it. And it was early. Like, it was like not brunch time. And I was like, smart. But those were delicious. And those are worth my time and energy. The tostones, the plantains, those were worth my time and energy. Anything on that table, not worth my energy.
Not worth. And that's the thing about like this year, because I feel I'm normally not the negative Nancy. I find the diamond in the rough. I find the silver lining and wrap it around everybody. Like that's who I am. It's been really hard to do that. Do you remember? So like the other thing on TikTok, the good week of TikTok was about a month ago when when these sleuths uncovered and said, well, Gisele must be a witch. Tom Brady's ex-wife, Gisele. Gisele is actually pronounced Gisele in Portuguese. I didn't know that. They're like, sis is a witch. And I've been watching, and I just got like she took her power back. It's not witches don't destroy. They
just get their stuff back.
They harness good energy and put it into places. And then when it's time to go. So what you're watching is her taking her energy back. And I'm like, how do I do that? I am this close to like Googling, like, how do I, like, what kind of witches to sell and where did she study? Like, I need
help. I need help. Like, let me tell
I don't
you.
know what else to do.
Let me tell you, I'm actively pulling, I'm trying to pull on so much Christmas spirit. It's getting kind of gross. Like today I turned on a Motown holiday playlist.
Whoa.
And I love Motown, don't get me wrong, but I felt a real ignition in my soul when Silent Night by the Temptations came on. Like I was like, okay, I can make it another day.
But have you heard Jingle Bells by DMX?
Yes, and I would recommend that as well. Because if you just need, but then you get sad because you're like 2022 took that from us too. And then like, let me tell you, the Migos have some great, like very, like I've been listening to a lot of Migos music because Takeoff. And it just reminded me how much that was like in my like day-to-day listening from high school to college to first job. So it's like, oh, but I will 100% say, like, the Motown Christmas playlist, there's a couple of them. There's some that have been cultivated by other people. Some of them like Dancing in the Street showed up halfway through one, and I was like, I mean, it works. It's not quite what I was looking for, but it does have a Christmassy flair. It has a Christmassy flair about halfway through.
So there's some good content on Disney Plus that we've been watching, like the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas. It has the catchiest song ever. I don't know what Christmas is, but Christmas time is here. And it so fits my mood right now. Where I never have trouble getting in the spirit. But I'm with you. It's been rough.
I've written almost every holiday Christmas Peloton ride.
My God, I did. I've done all the rides on Peloton, all the holiday rides. Again, just to have the
just try
in my ear.
I'm gonna take there's a holiday slow jams that Chelsea did a year ago, and I'm gonna do that. We'll see how that goes. Maybe something with Dennis. I don't know. But I feel like it's a weird mix this year because like as much as I wanted to get into the spirit early,
yeah,
I feel like we're still kind of under that gauntlet in a little ways.
Yeah.
I will also say that if like especially around the holidays, I know a lot of people that struggle with drinking. Richmond has a very large recovery community, which is really like honestly, it's a good thing, and a lot of them blend very much so in the running community. Like, and actually, I'm really excited because on Monday I finally get to give one of the groups that has come out of the recovery section of Richmond. We have shoes for them from Brooks Running.
Yay!
I'm really excited about that. These shoes have been riding with me for like 2 weeks.
They're swag. They're Christmas swag. They're Christmas shoes. They're Christmas shoes.
Yeah, I mean, these are real. Like, I'm really glad that Brooks has started to, and more running brands have started to actually reach out to smaller running clubs that would never get like, on the news, but to make sure that people are getting and supporting the smaller groups, right? Because a lot of times people are like, oh, you got to have 100 people that have a need, and I am not giving a group of people in recovery a lecture. I'm not doing it.
So if those of you who just joined us, and I see that several of you have, this is my Christmas gift to myself. It's not what it looks like. It is an electric lighter. It is a game changer. It is wonderful. I've been setting on fire for 3 hours now since I got it. And I started this broadcast by telling NIKKIA that I'm going to be in jail by midnight. I'm afraid, not without intending to commit arson. I'm going to set the wrong thing on fire. It's going to spread. But this is the best thing I think.
It is, because you don't like, especially what are they? The big ones, like the ones with the little like fuel cartridge. I was going through those things. Karina, you're not alone. You're not alone. I thought the same thing, and I was very worried that this was going to be a whole different kind of conversation.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't. First of all, everybody knows I'm too much of a prude to talk about those things. Like, how many
that was when I was like, oh no, MK really has lost it. Here we go.
The question I used to hate when I did Ask Away. So Ask Away used to be just the original iteration of Offset.
That was one of my first Ask-Aways. The one that was like, I'm always horny after I finish running. Was it that one?
No. Well, the worst one was like, people just had like, I swear they find ways to work sex into questions just to make me turn purple because I don't know how to respond to these things. Thank you. I trust really hard. But like the very first question I remember getting was like, is it okay to have sex before a race? And I'm like, you're asking my permission to have sex? Like, I feel that's kind of personal.
There's some weird blogs out there that are like, absolutely not. You can't for 3 weeks before because you will ruin your optimal racing.
Right, but I'm sitting there thinking, like, what kind of sex are you having that because, like, number one, that you want to do it before a marathon, and number two, that like you think it could ruin that it's going to suck away so much energy you won't be able to. I don't want to know that. Like, I mean, I kind of need to know that to answer your question, but I really don't want to know.
It is funny. It's funny because it's funny because I think I'm almost certain Runner's World had an article. I'm almost certain. And I'm not gonna Google it because I don't need that in my algorithm. But I'm almost certain.
Mine has not recovered yet. In 2013, I moved to Denver and I tried to go for a run, and it was cold. And I came back to the house and said, I need something to cover my face. And I swear to God, NIKKIA,
that was
massive mouth hole.
No, I'm not Googling that.
My algorithm has not recovered between.
I'm sure it has not.
These questions, I'm
sure it's worse now than it was before.
I need to ask my husband to be my safe space. I'm like, baby, I need you to Google this because I know it's not gonna be good if I do it.
Yeah, no, and what you were looking for was a balaclava. Yeah.
Oh, I learned. It took me a week to learn that word. I had to tell that story to several different places to be like, do you know what this word is?
Balaclava, yeah. I don't know why people here wear them. I mean, it really doesn't get under like 30. Like 30's been like the drop, and even I mean, it's like it's 30. Like it's not negative temperatures. And honestly, when we do get negative temperatures, you probably should be in the house anyway. Yeah. But that's just how I feel, given that I live in Virginia. So I mean, like it'd be different if I lived somewhere where it's consistently under 20. But I tend to keep it.
My rule of thumb, where I live, when we get the notifications from the city that they're opening up the emergency overflow shelters for the unhoused, that is the sign to stay in the next day.
And our rules are not great about the shelters here. Like, I mean, there's a lot of people that have like campaigned been like, hey, we understand that it is not below freezing, but it's cold enough. Can you open the shelters? Like there were multiple campaigns like that. And heat. We also have heat problems on the other side of the year. And it's like, hey, it is insufferable outside. Can y'all please open the shelters? All that to say, going back to the food being bad at these parties, and I'm really disappointed about it, but also kind of like, I guess so.
Set it on fire.
You could set the food on fire. Well, some of that food actually needed fire. It was cold.
I don't know what I could have done for the Diet Coke. I'm still bitter about that.
Diet Coke would have needed just to be newer, and that's not a real solution. But if you are of the partaking type, I will say that this year I found a interesting alternative to make sure that I don't drink too much, other than the fact of I'm getting older and my tolerance is is not what it used to be.
Brand, what is that?
Get yourself one of the smaller advent calendars. Like
the one I got you?
Like the one you got me.
Okay.
It says It literally has about yay bunch of wine. This was actually from a different bottle, but it has a spot of wine, like just enough to be like half a glass. Now if you have a Cooper's Hawk near you, they're selling them with like half a bottle. But if you like just a spot of wine, you want something to kind of edge you out, but you don't want a full glass, or you don't want the option, or if you're the kind of person who, once you open a bottle, the bottle does not get closed again.
Fair.
I would highly recommend trying the advent calendar. That way you have your little something to look forward to. You could add sparkling water to it if that is also your jam. That's actually something I do.
I miss that a lot. That's one of the things. So I have type 2 diabetes. I can't drink like at all. I know it really sucks. I will on very rare occasions. Like I was planning to do it tonight to have one drink. This drink that I had in college that I swear I used to get at the Cheesecake Factory, but I've Googled and Googled and Googled. I've asked my friends who I know I drank it with. I don't go on NIKKIA. Like that's how you know this what I'm about to say is going to be quality. But it was called the French Kiss, and it was champagne, Chambord, creme de cassis, vodka, and vanilla ice cream with like a bear drizzled around before it was poured in. And it was amazing and frothy and fluffy and like
a Cosmo float.
I don't know what is that.
Like a Cosmo, like a Cosmopolitan, but like with ice cream, like a float.
No, this was. I mean, it was like a boozy milkshake.
Oh,
yeah. We're not talking. It didn't come in a cute little glass. It came in like a milkshake.
It came in one of the fun little curvy glasses.
Oh,
like a dessert glass. See, but that's fun though.
Glass with like a twirly, like red and white.
Oh, see, that's fun. But that's the thing. It's like it's fun, and it's something you love and remember loving. Like that's the thing. If it's if it's something that's gonna give you joy, go for it.
My algorithm's so bad. I just Googled Cosmo float drink to see if that was a thing, and
you probably got some weird stuff on the way. It's coming. It's coming to an algorithm near you. But I would so another thing that I used to do, especially I used to work in a very toxic work environment. The place I work now is fantastic, and way less toxic, and has a very strong like no drinking at work policy, which shouldn't be weird, but it is. But the place I used to work for, we had a wine fridge and a keg in the basement, and it was like. Huh?
Is it a startup?
It was indeed It was a family-owned startup.
That's not even a startup. That's just a mess.
It was that too.
And long story, Roy on Succession.
It was bad. It was bad for a lot of reasons, but also one of the things that I almost overcorrected because now I work somewhere that has extreme there's limits, there's regulations, there's rules, and honestly, I prefer that because I like know up front. Let me know up front. Like I don't need to find out the rules 3 years down the road. I want to go to legal today and be like, can I do this? And legal comes back and says, nah, and I'm like, cool, it's out. Like those are like I like that in my life. So in this toxic work environment, the owners would literally force feed people alcohol. And it was not great. One of the tricks that I had to come up with to make sure that I could still be good to my clients and have a full cup was something about this color. And I would take enough sparkling water or just something like fizzy or Sprite if you don't have access to sparkling water. And I would get it up to here. And that would also help because the bubbles would kind of slow it down, but they didn't notice there were bubbles because they were also sloshed. So that was that's one of the ways, like if you would like to have something in your hand, also, if you want to have something in your hand that has no alcohol, a vodka soda and soda look the same.
Yep.
They look the same. And also places have gotten a lot better about mocktails. And like non-alcoholic.
So expensive. I'm like, how are
expensive
alcoholics able to afford this stuff?
It's kind of funny. Like I will say, I've really enjoyed the non-alcoholic cocktails, mocktails, and things like that here because this is a very boozy city. Like we have more breweries per capita, and there's wine in the mountains, and there's distilleries. But even at the distilleries, there's people who don't drink. Like there's bartenders at the distillery that don't drink.
Yeah.
And so even at the distilleries here, you can get a mocktail, which I think is really cool. There's a lot of different fun options. Like if you are just trying to like replace a spirit, there's non-alcoholic spirits out there. So
Yeah.
like if you have a Total Wine near you, I know you can't have anything because sugar. But if there's a Total Wine near you, there is usually a really good section of like non-alcoholic items. Non-alcoholic beer, I've thoroughly enjoyed that category of things. Would highly recommend it. And then if it's something that's either just helping you drink less during the time, but you like the taste, like a stout, start with one real stout, and then your second stout, have it be the non-alcoholic version. No one knows the difference.
Yeah.
But those are like some tips and tricks that I use just kind of like, just mediate, especially because when you're out and about, you're filling your glass. Like it's just hard to kind of focus on that, but you want to also focus on like enjoying the people that you're around, right? So keep that in mind. Stay hydrated because, I mean, nobody wants to be dehydrated. And also because it's cold, we forget to drink water anyway. So make sure you're getting hydrated. Have a fun bottle. I got something in my Secret Santa that was really fun. It's a Hydrate Spark, and so it like vibrates and changes color when I haven't had enough water. It connects to an app, and if that just gives you anxiety, get an Nalgene. It does not give you anxiety or business to your phone.
My God, I was trying to Google so many things I need to Google.
I hope it's mocktails. I hope it's
and I guess mocktails, but I also haven't been to that many parties. Well, I don't know. I just having fewer parties this year, which I didn't think economically it was such. I mean, yes, interest rates are up, blah blah blah, but I also felt like I'm just surprised. I'm just surprised to see. It just feels like there's less going on this year.
I feel like in a normal year, it would be something every single night.
Yes.
But I think honestly and truly, organizations are kind of like figuring their stuff out. I know a lot of the people that were hosting these parties before the pandemic had a kid during the pandemic.
Can I make a confession?
Yes.
So my daughter is born the day after Christmas. One of my daughters born the day after Christmas, and because this time of year is so busy, this is the time of year I offered to do parties because no one will accept. This year people did. So I got a cookie decorating party that's happening next week, and the whole damn class is coming.
Oh, no. Why did you do that to yourself?
Because everybody always says, no, they're too busy.
Yeah, now they're like, nobody has anything. Like, I mean, even like the fun free events that people used to do for kids aren't happening. Like, I don't know if that's the thing out where you're at, but like usually this time of year, I am flooded with like, I mean, even fun free events for like dogs and cats, right? Like I have like a photo of Ranger sitting on Santa's lap. That hasn't happened in 5 years. Like it's just interesting. It's pretty great. Ranger looks like he is in sheer crisis.
I would be too if you made me sit on some strange man's lap.
It's pretty. You can kind of tell that like Santa has a death grip on Ranger. The Ranger's like he has the beagle panic face, and if you have a beagle, which I know several of you do, it's just like his tongue is like half the size of his head, and he's red. He's a black dog too, so it makes it even funnier that he's like beet red.
That's
a great photo.
Poor Ranger.
But like nobody's doing that kind of stuff this year. No. Like no one's doing like like come meet Santa. Like even the parades that we normally have been pretty low key. Like you don't hear about them until they're happening. So I wonder if it's just everybody's kind of tuning down, which that might not be a bad thing. If
I know next year I will not be hosting a cookie decorating party.
Yeah, you learned your lesson.
Yeah, I did. So I get for being good involved mom. I'll let y'all guys know how that goes next week.
Well, I'm sure. I can't wait.
my God, we'll just make s'mores over the log candles in the front. We have those Swedish candles, the logs that you throw the wax on.
Mr. MK's log.
Loves them. So I think what we're going to do is the kids make s'mores
That's
over
good.
those. Yeah, because it's not real fire, but it kind of feels like it. And so Violet has yet to be hurt using it. So we figure it's safe for everybody's kids, right?
As safe as it's going to be. I mean, I've seen, and people here really like open flame. No, they like open, and we're not allowed to have fire pits in the city. It's kind of funny the amount of fire pits that you see in the city.
We're technically not allowed to have them here either. It's so weird.
Yeah, it makes sense because a lot of our stuff is very close together. You could take out easily 3 to 4 homes.
I like to think it's because they know me. If what would happen if MK had a fire pit one day after office hours, whole city goes up in flames.
Yeah, that could happen.
Well, we also have the wildfire issue, so that's why we can't have it.
True. Well, and honestly, that I think most of it is most people don't know fire safety. Smokey the Bear needs to make a comeback for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
And that's probably one of them is that people just don't know how to take care of fire, open flame in general.
Yeah.
I just don't think that there's as much partying. I would love to hear people's opinion, or what they're experiencing. Is it more family? Is it more family than you've seen in the last 3 or 4 years?
What's funny is I'm hearing there's less family gathering.
I feel that because here's the thing. People did get a taste of, you don't have to go there. It's still Christmas, Thanksgiving, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Festivus for the rest of us. All of that still happens. Whether you have people and you're hosting, because I think also it reminded the people that are hosts that they didn't have to host. And I know people find a lot of joy in that, the people who are very big into it. But I think it kind of just reminded folks and my mother has a saying, and Nike has yet to not be right. And that too, stress about cash. Absolutely.
Yeah.
My mom always says, tradition will kill you.
Yes.
And people are like, that's, and I understand the value of tradition. Don't get me wrong. I think it's so cute when people, have their matching family pajamas and, things like that.
Ranger had matching pajamas. I love it.
We did. But I think that's the thing is people got a taste of what tradition or breaking tradition felt like. And then was like, that wasn't half bad. And it's not saying you're never going to see your family. And if anything, the pandemic probably taught a lot of folks hey, we should probably try and get out there more often. There's some folks that I was like, you know what? I haven't made it up to this place in a while. I need to get out there because this particular family member is aging and I would like to see them sooner rather than later. And I don't want it to wait for an emergency, right? Because
for me, it was a weird kind of freedom. Because I'm much more of a people pleaser, I think, than I don't come across as much of a people pleaser as I actually am. I just don't want anyone to feel bad or excluded or pooped on in my presence. And I accommodate a lot of things that I probably shouldn't for that reason. The literal worst day of my life happened this year. And I reached out to a bunch of family members because I didn't feel comfortable. It's the sort of thing you don't feel comfortable putting on your Facebook page, but it's I need this small thing. It's not even a big thing. It's literally a small thing, but it would mean the world to me. None of them did it. And then none of them even circled back with me later in the day to be by the way, are you okay? So I launched on Facebook. And we're not traveling to visit them for the holidays. And that for me, I'm wow, huge obligation gone. So all these things I felt stressed or guilty that I couldn't do because of COVID and I couldn't travel and my kids are really little. And by the way, we are 6 deep now. We can't afford to go anywhere, let alone to the middle of nowhere, Tennessee, where we would have to rent 4 car seats, rent a car big enough for 4 car seats, drive with gas being where it is, to a house that cannot accommodate 6 more people, right? All the things that we would have forced in the past that we're just kind of not doing now. And we're able to kind of do it guilt-free for several reasons, money being absolutely one of them. But yeah, I think the real pressure kind of shifted things, but as far as I'm concerned, it's for the better.
Yeah, and I cocooned during the holidays. So like a couple of years ago, and this is where the tradition will kill you really, when like people say stuff, but then like when it's put into practice, it really feels real to you.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, right before Christmas, literally the weekend, I used to put on a Toys for Tots race. And it was one of the largest races in the area, over 1,000 people, multiple Marines, trucks full of toys, the whole thing. And it still goes on today. It's one of the support races of Girls on the Run, which I really love that as well. My heat goes out. And it's supposed to be one of the coldest weekends we've had. And it was just one of those, like, I can't do this. I can't do this. And, at the time and even now, like, my savings is not great because I am a single woman. And I've been taking care of myself for a very long time. But I, called my warranty people and was like, hey, can we get somebody out here? And they were like, yeah, on Monday. And this was like Thursday. My race was on Sunday. A neighbor graciously let me borrow heaters. I kept Ranger as bundled up as I could. And I called my mom because I was like, the money that I was planning to, take to do Christmas the way that I want to do Christmas, not even put on by my family. Like, I like to do Christmas a certain way when they come.
Yeah.
And be a gracious host and, just enjoy my family because I don't get to see them as often as I should. And that's partially my fault. But I call my mom and I'm frustrated. I'm terrified that like it's a bigger repair, all these things. Oh. And my mom goes, we don't need to be coming in and out of your house if you are worried about the heat breaking or not being, like it's okay. You're all right. Like we will take a break this year. And we'll reconvene next year. Problem with that is it was 2019. So we took a long break.
Those happen.
If I knew then what I knew now, I would have just sucked it up and not have provided a haphazard, not half done experience. Because honestly, anything I do is graciously received by my family, and that I'm very lucky in that space. But I think that my mom also was like, she heard me and she was like, you don't have to do this. We will be okay. Like, and we had spent, that was when I did Berlin. So that fall, we had done Berlin and my mom and sister came with me. So we'd gotten that experience. And so I felt a little less guilty, but I was, really upset. But yeah, I mean, so tradition will kill you. You don't have to let it.
Well, this is a tradition that's soul alive. You talking to me? We've been doing this for an hour. Time to wind the party down. Don't want to overstay our welcome in people's living rooms.
We can absolutely wind the party down because 9 o'clock is the start of my bedtime.
Yeah, I can hear the natives getting restless. What did I just say that? I'm sorry. Oh my God.
The native dog? Not my dog, because he's probably
my children. My children have been told they cannot come up the stairs while we do this. And I hear the rumbling at the bottom, which means HRH wants to climb in bed with my husband and her little iPad. Did you see the picture we posted last night? My husband, Alex, is a Freemason. Before the pandemic, I told him he needed to make some guy friends because it freaked me out that, he travels all the time and he doesn't really have roots in Denver outside of us. And Freemasons it was. But you have to wear a 3-piece suit. That's a rule to their meetings. And I've not seen him in a 3-piece suit since we got married. And so it is just delicious to see him in his 3-piece suit every Tuesday. But Violet was like, where are you going? Yeah. I want to go. I'm going to miss you. And then when she walked through the door, like he walked through the door and she was like, the raccoon and Elf, when he's like, come here, you. And like, that was Violet coming at Alex. It was a
sweet girl. Oh, It's also wild that she's going to school. Like,
yeah. Oh, she went. She had her first full day back today after being sick.
oh,
It was, Daddy, I miss you all day. I'm like, that is not what she says when I pick her up. It's all right.
She cultivates the message before she gets home.
Yep. Yep. Lots of love in this house. It's just flowing in the different direction right now.
And you know what? But at least there's love in the house. I think that a lot of people are still working to cultivate that even through their adulthood. And, you know, you do the best of what you can with what you got. And whether it's love with you and my four-legged friend here who is like, what is going on?
Oh, no.
Because I've been going back into the office 3 days a week and Ranger's not pleased. He is not a fan. He sits on my clothing every morning. When I put my shoes on, he runs to the crate and kind of gives me a sassy face. And I'm like, I'm sorry. Because for 2.5+ years, it was just me and him, day in and day out. So it's a process.
Well, Francine Shetler spent the day with her puppy in the animal emergency room because it got into a bag of chewing gum.
Oh no!
And mint peppermint chocolate.
Not peppermint.
Like, I mean, talk about the
combination,
of things dogs are. Poor puppy had its stomach pumped and is now like they're still in the emergency ER, like getting him rehydrated and whatnot. But poor, it's like so. Go. I'm glad that your puppy's having I'm glad Ranger's having a better day than Fran's puppy.
Yeah.
He's not really a puppy. He's old enough to know better, but just not old enough to do better. That's what, my age or your age?
Ranger is 9, 10-ish. Well, the youngest he could be is 9 because we don't quite know some of his origins. He was passed around to 4 different families before he showed up at my door. And I got him from a guy on Craigslist.
As you do.
Because trying to adopt a small dog in this town is ridiculous. It shouldn't be as hard. I could get a child quicker from like various systems than I could a dog in this town.
But you don't really want that.
Huh?
But you don't really want that.
Not right now. And I really would like someone to do that.
That wasn't a question. That was a statement.
Oh, I was like, I would love. I think. I don't actually know if I want children because I've yet to find the person that I would like to create a child with. And you have to think about it in the I have to be sure that I'm comfortable with the least common denominator of the two of us existing freely in this world. And I have yet to find that other piece where it's like, all right, the least of you and the least of me has to go exist. And am I comfortable with leaving that in the world?
Yep, I feel that. Oh my gosh.
So if you know of any wealthy 35+ year old Black men that might live on the East Coast, I'm worth it.
I know you are. We just got to get those men your way.
Yeah, I'm actively. I think also it's just like being intentional. So like going to places where you know wealthy gentlemen will be.
It's hard. It's hard. I don't.
Dating in any state is hard. I think that, and especially now, like this time of year, I actually just take a full hiatus. I deleted my apps months ago. For my own mental health, I do that every couple months because it's bad. But during the holidays, I don't want to complicate things anyway. So I usually just kind of take a hiatus anyway, because it's all fun and games until you end up on a first date and then you're at somebody's house and you're like, wait a minute, why am I meeting your family? Like, was I a hired girlfriend? Was I the one? It's never happened to me, but I do know people that it's happened to.
It's happened to me. Well, I guess we're just going to do things backwards. I was like, that's not charming.
That's not fun. That's not fun. Don't do that. Also, that's not fair. Like,
and then because I realized like 2 hours into it, like, oh, you want them to think you're normal. That's why I'm here. No, I will not be part of your cover-up. Not my job.
No. And also because, I don't know, there's just so many things. Like, I do. I will 100% say I lean into like the Hallmark movies and all that stuff. Mostly
So
because it's fun and it's cute and it's. I think for me, I feel like it's harmless.
have you seen the Mistletones?
No.
It is based on Pitch Perfect. Like they took the formula, made it Christmas, and gave it to Tia Mowry.
You know that I was in an acapella group.
Yes, I do, which is why I thought about this. My husband was too. And
I was in an acapella group. I have a music degree. It's a whole thing.
Right. But what? Well, but you have not seen this movie. Ergo,
what is it? Is it on Disney Plus?
No, we saw it on Hallmark.
Does Hallmark have their own channel now? Is that a thing?
Hallmark channel?
Yeah.
Yes. Hallmark has its own, like, so if you get the Roku channel, Roku has a Hallmark channel, a Hallmark Christmas channel, a Redbox Christmas channel, and that's where we saw the Mistletones.
The Mistletones.
Yep.
I'll look this up. I do have Roku.
With Tori Spelling as the leader of the evil rival singing group, the Snowbells. A couple more glasses of wine and you'll be ready for that one.
Yeah, it's so funny because when I get in the mood for those, it's just I think I like it for the same reason I like horror movies, is that they have a predictable start, usual, middle, and end. Yes. And when you really want to get crazy, there is a whole genre of horror holiday themed movies.
Oh yeah, the Violent Santa with the guy from Stranger Things.
Yep, Black Christmas or Black Xmas. Yeah, that's on Hulu, and that's a remake of a '70s movie. It's pretty bad. I mean, like the murderer has jaundice. Like I'm like, why is he yellow? Because why are you yellow? Like,
and the reason I am, it's the lighting. They couldn't afford a real lighting director.
I was like, was that supposed to make him creepy? Like, was that supposed to? And honestly, if you are into horror movies, watch it because there's so much nonsensical moments in it that kind of make it feel like it's a comedy. Like it feels like a horror comedy, which is also a genre that I never thought I would be into. But the more you watch them, the more you're like, okay, I get it. But yeah.
So the horror story is coming up the stairs. I hear.
It's funny. I hear them, and Ranger is right here because he's like, it's the last potty of the day. Let's go. So
go get it.
He's right here. I don't know if you can see him. Ranger, get in there.
Hi, Ranger.
See, did you hear?
Hi.
He's like, all right. They saw me. I'm out. Well, friends, I hope you all, if we don't hear from you, you have a happy holiday.
Happy
Enjoy yourself.
We love you. It's just going to be hiding and chilling, taking it very easy.
I'm going to be cocooning unless my family decides to show up, at which point I will no longer be cocooning.
That's just mean.
We'll see what happens. I mean, there is one, they might actually come for the new year, which I'm actually not mad at because
pressure on New Year.
Huh?
There's less pressure on New Year.
Well, not even pressure, but just couldn't think of plans anyway because all my friends have moved away. And so it was either going to be like me on the couch drinking champagne with my dog, but now it can be me on my couch drinking champagne with my family. And that's also not a bad way to bring in the new year with your family. I'm okay with that. And also, I love a theme. So I'm thinking champagne cupcakes and champagne like, gold and
make the Jefferson at your house,
basically, because we don't half-ass anything over here. We use our whole ass.
That's right. You heard it here. Whole ass. There are no half-asses, no half-ass jinglers. No matter, even walking is a whole ass workout.
It is.
No, whether you run, whether you don't, there's a place for you here at the Fitness Protection and in our hearts. Thank you for staying with us through the year, supporting our little woman-owned business through the worst times. We love you, and we hope to see you all next year, too.
Bye.